Jennifer Pan's story centers around the pressures of family expectations and how they can profoundly impact an individual. It shows how when failure is not an option, the length some people will go to make it all right can be extreme. And in 2010, the quiet suburb of Markham, Ontario got a glimpse into this when a brutal attack occurred that was initially believed to just be a tragic home invasion. But as the investigation began to peel back the layers of deception in the case, it revealed a plot orchestrated by the young and unassuming Jennifer Pan, one in which the only way she felt she could get out of this hamster wheel of higher expectations was to fully get rid of the source, her parents. Born on June 17th of 1986 in Markham, Ontario, Jennifer is the daughter of Chinese refugees from Vietnam, Bit Ha and Hui Han Pan, who fled to Canada in the late 1970s and worked diligently to provide a stable life for their children, Jennifer and Felix. They both worked blue-collar jobs at an auto parts manufacturing plant, and they worked hard to provide a roof over the family's head. Jennifer, their eldest, was the focus of their high expectations, particularly when it came to academics, as they didn't want her to have to deal with the hardships they went through and envisioned a better life for her and her brother. Jennifer began taking piano lessons at age 4, and then ice skating became the main focus of her life with Olympic aspirations, until an injury ended all that. She attended Mary Ward Catholic Secondary School, where she initially excelled, regularly receiving awards and high grades. She was doing great, yes, but it was tearing her up inside. The long days at school were always followed up by a whole bunch of extracurricular activities. Only she didn't get to do these with her friends or even on her own. Bit and Hui were there to pick her up and take her away to do things productive, so anything else was seen as a waste of time. And that meant there was no going to parties, no school dances, certainly no boyfriends of any sort. So in other words, no fun. And, as The Shining taught us, all work and no play makes Jennifer a dull girl. And this constant push in life, as it tends to do, made Jennifer want to rebel, and in fact do the opposite of what her parents wanted. She was scared, so she started off kind of slow. She began to fabricate her academic achievements, forging her report cards when she started to struggle in school. She got accepted into Ryerson University, but when she was in 12th grade, she actually failed calculus, and Ryerson said she couldn't go there anymore. And there was no way she could tell her parents that, so she didn't. She just kept the lies going, and to them, it appeared like she was a straight-A student all across the board. She then lied about earning a scholarship and completely fabricated a story about going on to attend the University of Toronto in the fall. While quote-unquote attending college, she of course had to still live at home. Her parents didn't want her out there in the real world alone. As this web of lies thickened, Jennifer never thought too far into the future. She was just trying to get by day, and her double life eventually began to unfold. For example, she told her parents she was volunteering at a local hospital, but this was just so she could find an excuse to get out of the house. Her parents then began to catch on when they saw she had no scrubs or uniform, or even an ID badge. The truth was, she had met a boy, Daniel Wong, who she had known from high school. He was a weed dealer, and the two started dating, and she had to hide the whole relationship from her overbearing parents, which added another layer to her deceit. And this pressure and isolation ultimately led Jennifer to a breaking point, and she began to conceive a desperate and very dark plan. And she was 24 years old now, still fully controlled and immersed in a ton of lies. She was convinced that her life would never improve as long as her parents were in it, and so she began to plot their murder. She believed that their deaths would free her from the relentless expectations and also to allow her to inherit their assets, so sort of a two birds with one stone type of move. And Jennifer enlisted her boyfriend Daniel, of course, who had a few sketchy connections because of his drug dealings, which then brought in Lenford Crawford and Eric Carty to carry out the murder, which they would disguise as a home invasion. Jennifer figured she was going to make $500,000 from the inheritance, so she could pay them good money once the deal was done. The plan was meticulously crafted, at least in their eyes. Jennifer and her co-conspirators decided that the attack would look like a robbery gone wrong. She provided details about her house and her parents' habits to ensure the plan was foolproof. Over several weeks, they discussed the logistics, settling on a night when Jennifer would disable the home security system and unlock a basement door to allow the intruders easy access. On the night of November 8th of 2010, Jennifer executed the first part of her plan. She texted the signal to the hired men via a burner phone, indicating that the house was ready for the invasion. As agreed, she left the door unlocked, allowing the fake robbers to enter the house where her parents were sleeping soundly. Eric Carty would be the driver, waiting outside while Wong, Crawford, and another man that got on board, David Malvaganam, headed in armed with guns. They crept into the Pan residence, tying up Jennifer to make it appear as though she was also a victim. They then attacked her parents, tying them up and blindfolding them before demanding all the money in the house. They ransacked the place, looking for anything extra they could get their hands on, while of course making it appear like an authentic robbery. They managed to grab $2,000 in cash and some jewelry. Once they were done upstairs, they brought Jennifer's parents down to the basement. In an execution-style shooting, her mother was shot twice and fatally wounded, while her father was also shot, but miraculously, he survived. After the attackers fled, Jennifer was left bound but unharmed. In the immediate aftermath, she called 911, playing the role of a terrified daughter who just witnessed her parents being killed. However, her father's survival would soon unravel her entire story. Wei Han Pan provided a different account of the night's events, which led investigators to question Jennifer's version of the story. During the investigation, police initially thought it all made sense. The robbers saw a decent house to ransack and hit it up, but upon a closer look, things didn't really add up. For starters, there were a lot of valuable items left behind: electronics, diamonds, all of which would be the entire purpose of breaking in and robbing a house. And if you're going to kill the homeowners, at the very least, you're going to pick the place clean. And then came the inconsistencies in Jennifer's statements that began to surface, such as she was tied up but also managed to call 911 right after it happened. So how'd she get out? She also hadn't been blindfolded and was left completely unharmed, not even a smack to the face. And why would that be, the detectives wondered. Han had been unconscious for a few days, so he didn't get to talk to police right away. Went through emergency surgery, but a couple days after he woke up, and police asked him what happened. It was then that he explained that the blindfold over his face wasn't on all that well. He said he saw Jennifer talking to one of the hitmen in a very calm demeanor right before they shot him. In the end, they had never tied her up, and she did speak to them, but all this, she figured, would never get out because both parents would be dead. Jennifer was then arrested and brought in for questioning, something she didn't anticipate happening. And now, with pressure coming down on her from the police, her entire house of cards all came crashing down. When they searched for a motive, it wasn't hard to find, as they saw Jennifer had been living a giant lie, one right after the other, and saw this as her only way out. The trial that followed captivated the public as all the details of Jennifer's deception were revealed. In 2014, after a gripping courtroom battle, all involved were found guilty. Carty received an 18-year sentence for his part in being the driver, and Wong, Malvaganam, Crawford, and Jennifer each were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for 25 years, a verdict that brought some closure to the community especially to her surviving father. Jennifer Pan currently resides in the Grand Valley Institution for Women, where she will spend at least the next few decades. Her case has had a profound impact on her family and the Vietnamese community in Markham, who now more than ever consider the extreme consequences that can arise from high familial expectations. And while of course it doesn't excuse what she did by any means, you do have to wonder how bleak Jennifer's outlook on life was given her situation. There have been appeals to her sentence because of this, and some people feel like had she never been treated the way she had been, then there's no way she would have committed such a crime. But the damage has certainly been done, and so for now she will remain behind bars. And there were definitely other ways for her to deal with her situation. After all, she was a grown woman who could have just told her parents to be disappointed all they wanted, and she was going to live her life the way she wanted. And so, I guess let that be a lesson to everyone. Do not live your life for others, because it can be paralyzing and lead you to do some very terrible things. So that's the story of Jennifer Pan. A woman drove to commit the unthinkable. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember to subscribe so we can make sure to reach you with our new videos coming out each and every week. Hit that notification bell. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next one.